Going to be changing the brake pads on here. Suzuki has Brembos on the newer bikes. These are actually pretty simple to use to change. Here's what you basically need besides the tools. You have the brake lubricant, brake parts cleaner, and 2 sets of brake pads because there are 2 calipers on this thing. Before we get to that, go ahead and open up the reservoir cap. Keep it there loose because when you're pushing the pistons back into the caliper, the fluid will rise, and obviously wrap the reservoir with a towel or something just in case a little fluid comes out. You don't want it to get on the paint. It will eat up your paint, ruin your night. So if you've done brakes before, this should be fairly simple. You're just going to remove the 2 bolts holding the caliper and just pop that caliper out. You're going to want something to support the caliper while you have it off the bike. I'm going to use a back stand. It's pretty simple. Use whatever you want, coat hanger on the mirror, whatever. So just get your socket, undo these bolts real quick. Slide them out. And once you have those bolts off, you just slide the caliper right off the rotor there. So we're gonna get the pads out. Right now they're too close for the pad to get past that notch that it sits in. So just use a wrench or something. Push one pad into the other. At the same time, you're going to be pushing the piston in, and give it a good push. You see my struggle. Move over, push again on the other side, and eventually that pad will pop right out. That's as simple as it is. You're going to want to inspect the brake pads to make sure they've been worn evenly, not easily, but evenly. Just make sure you have even wear. These are actually pretty good. So now we have to push the pistons back in because the new pads are going to be thicker, and so if we leave it the way they are, it won't fit over the rotors. So I'm just going to use one of the old pads, and I'm actually just going to use my hands, my fingers to push this in. It's not too hard. If you have a clamp, go ahead and do that. Do whatever works best for you. I'm just going to push it in. I got some strong fingers. Doesn't matter which side you do first. Keep an eye on the reservoir because while you're pushing these pistons in, that fluid is going to rise, and you want to make sure it doesn't overflow. So we're going to clean the brake caliper prior to putting the new pads in. There's brake cleaner right there. You can use a toothbrush, whatever. You see I'm kind of protecting the area with a piece of cardboard, and I'm using a oil pan to catch any liquid. Spray in there pretty good. You can use whatever you want. I'm using a paper towel. You can obviously clean it more thoroughly than I did. But I don't want to spend forever trying to get every little piece of grime and dust out of there. So it's time to put the new pads in, but beforehand, just going to state the obvious. You're going to want to place it in there in the correct fashion, and so the correct part is hitting the rotor. It should be obvious. Go ahead and grab your lube, and you're going to place it, put a small little dot on the back of it, don't put any on the part that's going to touch the rotor. You're an idiot if you do. Just rub it around. It helps reduce any noise, any squeaks when braking. Alright, these are fairly simple. You're just going to pop them right in. do whichever side you want first. Make sure you have the part that's going to contact the rotor facing the correct way. Just using a wrench to get a good tight fit. Alright, go ahead and grab it, slide it right over the rotor, and you're just gonna do the reverse of what you did when you took it off. Obviously, I should state that you are going to want to tighten these to the correct specific torquing that the manufacturer calls for. I'm just going to eyeball it because I've done brakes so many times. But you should follow what the manufacturer wants. Well, I'm not going to show you me doing the other side because it's the exact same thing. There, it's done. They look nice and clean. Now, the last and most important part. Replace the cap, top it off if need be, and pump. As you can see, that brake lever falls all the way down. You don't want to be riding and then all of a sudden have no brakes. So pump it to get the fluid going, to get the brake pads close to the rotor, and get that nice tight feel. There you go. See, it doesn't fall all the way down anymore. That's it. You're done.